Hey, welcome back to another episode. Today, we're actually going to talk about the difference between reacting and responding. I just think this is just such a good topic. And it's something that I have been actually working on and trying to better myself at. For decades, was somebody who reacted to everything. I'm not sure if you can relate to that, but I literally reacted to what someone said, what someone did, something on social media or the news, seeing something out in public. I mean, it didn't matter. Even my own thoughts and fears, like I reacted to everything. It created so much anxiety in my life that I would have 37 plus panic attacks a day. And I really just hated living like that. Like, if I'm being transparent, it was something that really actually frustrated me a lot. And the more frustrated I got, the more I would react and would have difficulty having a conversation or even with, day-to-day relationships. And so what I have been working on is how to respond. And so I want to like give you the definition between the two so you can kind of know the difference and just talk a little bit about it. Um, so reacting is a reaction. It's an automatic, instinctive response to a situation that often is driven by emotion and influenced by past experiences. Reactions can be impulsive and defensive and can lead to unintended consequences. Responding. A response is a thoughtful and deliberate action that involves analyzing the situation, considering your feelings, and choosing a course of action. Responding is slower than reacting and creates space between an event and your response. Responding can help you make things better instead of worse. It can also improve your relationships and productivity. And I think that's just so important to know that. Like, we want to become responders. We want to try not to be so reactive. Um, so responding can help you make better choices, right? And it's going to help with your relationships and productivity. Some tips on responding instead of reacting is to be aware of your emotions. Understand how your emotions drive your decisions. I used to be called like, you're such an emotional person. You are so dramatic, and you always share everything, like that when you tell a story or when you talk about your life, there's just so much emotion involved. Like, you're an emotional creature, right? What I didn't understand was that I didn't have any order with my emotions. It was still very chaotic as I was sharing those things. So they felt like they were happening all over again. Like, emotionally, I could emotionalize them, and literally my body would feel how I felt in that exact moment from the story I was telling. And so it's so important that you can understand how your emotions drive you to make your decisions. I used to get very defensive. I used to get very and impulsive and cut people off. And it's something I've been working on tremendously because I recognized it as something that I can change and better. You have to give yourself time. Responding creates space between the event and your responses, which gives you time to understand what is really going on with the situation, what is happening, right? Um, you have to be aware of your emotions, but you need to be assertive. Responding will well usually means being assertive in a kind but not aggressive way. And so I think that when I think about this, reacting is so instinctive. It's an emotional response to the situation, right? It's often impulsive. It can be it can be influenced by those past experiences or fears. So reaction usually comes with a negative vibration. It usually shows up with anxiety or with frustration or with like you're annoyed or angry or upset about something, or you don't like it, right? It's not something. It's usually something that you are. It's a negative emotion that you are responding to, and that's what we're addressing today. There are going to be reactions where you're excited and you're happy and you're celebrating. Those things are good. All of these things are good for you, right? Nothing is bad. but it's just getting to know yourself and your emotions more than anything. And so it's, when you're responding, you're more thoughtful, you're more deliberate with your actions, you're having consideration of the situation, you're weighing the options, you're making a conscious choice. You're not taking forever to get your answer, but you are giving yourself that little bit of time that you need to decide, is this something I need to respond to at all? Because some things don't even need a reaction or a response. And it's, if you're reacting all the time to everything, emotionally you're not regulated. Your emotions are chaotic, right? And so that means you're going to have more of those fears pop in, you're going to have more of those bad habits pop in, you're going to have more of those outbursts popping in, or fights or arguments or little things like that. When you are not emotionally regulated, you're constantly in a reactive mode. Emotions are all over the place, right? There's chaos. But when you're responding, there's order. And so you're looking for that order. And if you're like me and you're somebody who's never lived with joy and peace on a day-to-day, and you're so used to that chaos and that unbalanced lifestyle, the fly-by-wire, the lack of responding or taking time to respond, but instead you react to everything. If you're in that kind of lifestyle, it's going to feel weird at first when you work your way out of it. It's going to feel different, and you have to catch yourself, but you can't be reactive to yourself either when you make a mistake or when something doesn't go as planned. You've got to unconditionally love yourself through it. That's part of learning how to respond, is to unconditionally love the situation no matter what's going on. Love the people, love it for what it is, no matter what is happening. Like, you're going to want to be able to just say, it's okay. It's all going to be okay. Um, you have to learn to make some conscious choices to respond, to not react, right? You have to name your emotions, verbalize them out loud, or write them in a journal. Something that I have started working on is writing out, what emotions I am so grateful for I have. Like, emotions is one of the highest things, the highest gifts that God can give us, is our emotions. And so if you have those emotions, that's a valuable tool when you can learn to respond. And so I love being able to say, okay, I'm feeling upset right now, and that's okay. And then I think about what is creating this, right? So ask yourself, why am I reacting? Why am I reacting to this? So you're verbalizing out loud or write it in a journal. Why am I reacting to this? And then truthfully respond. And then that's how you're going to get to the root of what's going on, recognizing how your body feels and paying attention to any physical symptoms that you're having. Maybe it's a fever, maybe it's a headache, maybe it's a stomach ache, maybe you're kind of nauseated. Maybe you shake, or you turn bright red, or you sweat. Like, what does your body do during that feeling and those emotions that you're having? Maybe it's a multitude of feelings. Maybe you're going from anxious to angry, or anxious to sad, or anxious to happy. Like, what is your body doing, and what are the responses that your body is giving you, and the cues? Because these are important faculties. These are something that you're going to want to pay attention to, because then you'll know, okay, when this conversation about this topic pops up, my body reacts like this. If it's a good feeling, it's from God. If it's not a good feeling, it's something deep down rooted that you want to work on. It doesn't come from God. God only brings love, joy, and peace, right? Happiness. He brings all those good emotions. And so recognizing how your body's feeling could be a sign that what you're trying to push to happen isn't good for you. It's not God driven. And I think that that's the biggest thing I've learned, is following my intuition. By following my intuition and my gut feeling, I'm paying attention to my emotions. I'm loving them more, right? You can use your breath to regain control. Deep breathing, count to 10, count to 5, count to 100, like whatever it is you need, in your nose and out your mouth, slow, deep breaths. Don't hyperventilate. Just relaxing yourself, dropping down those shoulders, not being so tense, rolling your neck and your head around, and just in circular motions to just kind of de-stress your body, stretching your arms, stretching your legs. That breathing and that movement is going to help you regain that control and order within your body. It's also going to help calm you, right? Because that's just something about that breathing. It realigns your diaphragm, And it really helps with that breathing. Um, Ask yourself, like I said, why are you reacting to this? When you ask yourself that, be truthful. It's probably something from your past. 99.9% of the time, it's from our past. And we just haven't learned how to heal from it yet or let it go. And that's a paradigm. We're going to work on those. We're going to talk more about paradigms in another episode. Practice mindfulness regularly. What are your thoughts? Are your thoughts chaotic and worried about every single thing on your list and every single thing in your day? Or are you focused in the moment, in the now? Are you focused in where you're headed and all the excited things you're doing because you're focused in the now? Are you focused on the goals and the dreams that you aspire to accomplish? Are you focused on the people that you care about? Like, where is your mindfulness? Is it just all over the place, stressed out, chaotic? I love this photo of two people walking out in the beautiful nature, and the one is just, their bubble is full of like 100 different things that their mind is thinking of, and nothing about the nature and the trip itself, but just, taking the kids to soccer, paying for this expense, going to do this, running this errand and this errand and this errand, all the things that I didn't get right, right? The mind is just so consumed with all these thoughts. And then the other person's mind bubble is literally just on the view that they're seeing while they're walking. Now, I don't know about you, but I want that kind of peace. I want the peace where when I'm out in nature, and I'm not thinking about a million things. I'm thinking about how beautiful the leaves are, how gorgeous the the air feels on my face, how good it feels to catch, fresh air in my breath. So every time I take a deep breath, it's fresh air. To hear the birds chirping, to see the squirrels looking for food. Like, these are the things that, watch the creek flowing. Like, these are the things that I want to focus on. These are the things that I want to see. I want to pay attention to that little leaf that fell off the tree into the water and is just floating on by. Like, how cool is that? And we can't do that if our head's full of a bunch of garbage, a bunch of things we can't control, right? And a bunch of things that maybe we can control, we just haven't aligned them yet to our schedule, or we feel overwhelmed by what we have created in our day to day in our schedule. All of these things can be challenging, but I think the most important thing is to just give yourself the grace that you need and love yourself through it. Um, and noticing that when you're having an instinctive emotional response, it's often impulsive, right? And so if you know that it's impulsive and it's fear-based or it's a past experience, that pause that you give yourself for just a moment is so key. And you get to choose. This morning, my spouse woke up in not such a great mood. This is just a good example. Like, we're human, it happens, right? He woke up in such a not great mood. And I had knocked a glass over and made a bunch of clanging noises. And he reacted. He reacted and said, that wouldn't have happened if you guys would have finished the dishes yesterday. But see, evidently he wasn't paying attention to me, or he would have known that I had such a really high pain day. So I wasn't getting anything accomplished yesterday but rest. And so I just said, I I have had such a great morning. And you've been sleeping. I've been up early. I've had such a great morning. I've already been up for a couple of hours. Like, I'm in such a great mood that I'm sorry that you're having a rough get up and go this morning, but I cannot sit here and entertain an argument with you. And I stopped myself and I responded that way. And I had paused and I had responded. And then he went outside to catch some fresh air. And he came back and he's in a better mood. But that's what it takes. Is I could have reacted and snapped back. Well, I wasn't feeling good and blah, 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 blah. And we kind of got into a big old argument. But why would I want that chaos in my day? And why would I want my 11-year-old who's in the same room to have to deal with that chaos? Think about what we're saying. We're saying pause, avoid reacting, and if you cannot respond in a healthy manner, don't respond at all. It's okay to leave people on red. It's okay to be silent and quiet yourself because you will disrupt your alignment and your energy if you do not realize how important it is to only respond when you emotionally can. When your emotions are in a state of being where you're not going to allow what's happening outside of you to impact the inside of you, your heart, your thoughts, your emotions, what you're feeling. Nobody else is in charge of your feelings but you. And I think that was the part that I needed to understand and learn better. I feel like I always allowed other people's emotions to impact mine and to impact my day to day. That's how I would become an explosive reactor, right? But what I realized was that I'm in control of my emotions. I'm in control of how I feel. I'm in control of whether I have joy, peace, happiness, or whether I have sadness and pain and suffering. Like I get to choose each day who I am and what I bring to the table. And as soon as we can address that and understand that, it will change how we are. It'll change our being. It'll change how we view other people. It'll change how we deliberately are thoughtful and the actions that we are taking in our day to day. And um, the difference between reacting and responding is just the amount of time that passes between the event and the action, and whether or not you consider different alternatives. So at the end of the day, you're choosing a different alternative. Instead of being reactive, you're choosing to make a decision on whether or not this is worth lowering your vibration. Honestly, nothing is worth lowering my vibration. If it's going to lower my vibration, I'm not even going to respond. If it's going to raise or keep my vibration elevated, I want that. I want that. And it's okay to pick and choose. Okay. So this week, I want you to really think about this. I want you to choose joy. I want you to just this week choose joy and welcome fresh starts and choose gratitude. Choose gratitude and be grateful for every single thing, the air you breathe, the food you eat, the water that's running in your sink or your bathtub, everything, right? Reflect and recharge. Choose one day this week where you're going to sit back and you're going to self reflect and recharge your batteries. You're not going to do anything crazy. You're just going to recharge your batteries. Do something you love. Take time for yourself. This is something that I don't think I ever did until I started working on self development. You have to take some time for yourself, an hour a day. I know that sounds so like hard for a lot of people, but start with 5 minutes and then gradually work yourself up to that. Um, the last thing is I want you to attract the positivity. So if you're putting out the positive, you're going to get back the positive. And we are what we attract. And so if you're putting it out, you're going to get it back. So if you're putting negativity out, negativity is going to come most definitely. So I want you to think about your light and your feeling, your being, and how does it feel emotionally when you just close your eyes and you just feel inside your soul? Do you feel that love? We were created in love, so you should feel that love in your heart. I want you to take a few minutes each day to just close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths, and send that love out to the world. Send it right out to the universe. Send it out to everybody. You will be amazed at how good it makes you feel the more you do that. Do that once a day. Just take a minute, pause, talk about your gratitude, write down your gratitude, and then just send out some love. And send yourself love. Make sure that you are unconditionally sending yourself as much love as you can. You'll be amazed at how much it will change when you start speaking life over yourself and you start speaking kinder words to yourself and you start speaking the love and the air that you breathe into yourself. And so I hope this podcast helps somebody. I am super, super excited to bring you more. Hope you have an amazing week.